What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training. Today we're going to be breaking down two of the best press releases that bigger and taller wide receivers can use off the line of scrimmage. So these are two ways that you guys can use your size to your advantage, use your strength to your advantage, and how you guys can get off a press effectively by doing these two things and maintain timing with your quarterback and spacing on the route. So I hope this video helps you guys out, but also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want a complete off-season guide with everything wide receivers need to be doing in the gym and on the field on a day-to-day basis, check out that very first link in the description below for our ultimate 8-week wide receiver workout plan. What you'll get access to is 8 weeks of wide receiver gym and field workouts with video examples of each on-field drill, examples of each gym exercise, and the exact sets and reps laid out for you. So if that sounds like something that would interest you, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get started with this video. So first release here is going to be called a shock release. So what is a shock release? So a shock release is essentially like, and again, a lot of people think that this is a flag. Within 5 yards, this is 100% of the time completely legal, but pretty much you're just like blocking the DB, if you will. So we're going to play this thing full speed. So this wide receiver is a little bit bigger than this DB. He's got a great pad level. DB's kind of on his heels, I guess you would say. So this is the perfect time to use it. But essentially, it's just you just shock the DB. You come off the line, you use your size, use your strength to advantage to create a little bit of separation. And trust me, this much separation is a lot of separation on the goal line. Now, this can be used in any situation. It doesn't necessarily have to always be used on the goal line, but this shock release is great for bigger guys. Because like sometimes you're going to get DBs, especially being a bigger dude. DBs are going to want to press because they feel like you're an easy target, right? So like you stand up, maybe you're standing up tall, you're exposing your chest. You see it a lot with maybe taller, skinnier wide receivers, but like you'll see them come up to the line, their chest will be straight up in the air. They maybe don't look the strongest, and you'll get DBs who are smaller than them who will absolutely jam the hell out of them because they let them get their hands on their chest and inside their frame. So as a taller wide receiver, this shock release is a great way to kind of set the tone early in the game to not allow that to happen, but B, it's just a great way to get separation if you do these things. So you have to make sure that we keep a good pad level position, number one. If you stand up tall and you pop your chest up, as I like to say it, you expose your number, and you stand up and you try to just hand fight this DB and just try to run right through him, you're going to be on your heels, you're going to be standing up. He's going to be able to get the advantage because he obviously wants to get hands on you. That's his whole goal with the press in the first place. So we have to make sure that I keep a good pad level. If you're a bigger guy and you keep a good pad level, it is very, very tough to stop you when you do this type of shock release. So now when we decide to make this move, it's just like the same mechanics as if you were blocking. You want to have a good, strong base. You want to drive from your hips. You want to explode upward. And then honestly, you're just shocking that DB. He wants to sit there. We shock him off the line, and then I can create that separation. So again, like I said, fellas, great release to use to set the tone early with the DB. Let him know that it's not going to be a walk in the park, that he's not going to be able to get hands on you the entire time, and just to let him know that you're a bigger, more physical guy than him. So that's the first release. Then we're going to get into a second one here in a second. So let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job hitting this DB with that shock release, being explosive, and keeping a great pad level position. So now, second release is going to be called a dive release. So this is what a dive release is. For a bigger guy, why is it important? It's important because you can use, again, your size to your advantage. As like, let's say, for example, you're a shorter receiver, you're on the quicker side, you want to use your quickness to your advantage, right? You're a bigger wide receiver, a stronger guy, you want to use your strength and your size to your advantage. So you want to play to your strengths when it comes to press releases. So this is a situation where he's running a 10-yard out, and he's got a DB who's not quite outside shade. He's more like head-up coverage, but this could also work against an outside shade DB. But this is called a dive release. So pretty much it's the opposite of a diamond. I'll play it full speed. So he dives inside, gets that DB to flip his hips, swats the hands, and then breaks this thing off on the outer. That is a very, very complete route. Now, again, wide receiver's a little bit on the bigger side, definitely bigger than the DB, but this dive release puts you in a great position to use your physicality. So a dive, like everybody probably knows what a diamond release is, right? So you got like a inside shade DB, let's say, and let's say you got to run a slant. Like I'll draw it right here. Like let's say this is the wide receiver. Let's say that's the DB. Ball's over here. You have to run a slant route. Now that DB's inside shade. So what you would do is if you're lined up here and you got the DB inside shade, you'd take 1, 2, 3 steps on a 45, get the DB to commit his hips to the fade, and then you would slip back underneath and run the slant. So a diamond is essentially the opposite of that. A dive is essentially the opposite of that. You were going to be taking 2 hard steps to the inside on a 45 to sell a drag, to sell a slant, to sell an inside release, so that DB will open up his hips the opposite, and you're able to set up outside. Now again, why is this important for tall wide receivers? Because if you could get this DB to this position where you dive to the inside, you commit the hips, commit the shoulders, you have speed, and he opens up his hips, you can use your size and your physicality to get a lot of separation in this position, because this is his recovery hand. So imagine if this wide receiver put the brakes on and he swatted this DB's hand with his left arm. He swatted him at the elbow, the back of the shoulder, maybe the back of the hip. Those are the 3 points of control, as I like to call it. Those are the 3 points that I would teach you to try to swat at. But if you can get a DB to flip his hips and then use that type of technique where you swat his hands, his hips completely lock out. Now, this wide receiver doesn't swat hands, but look at the separation he's still able to get. But imagine if we threw this guy by. Imagine if when we put the brakes on, this hand was at his elbow, his shoulder. That would get you so much separation. But the dive sets you up for that. The dive release of you going straight inside right now is what flipped the DB's hips and is what allowed you to create space. So that's textbook right there. This is exact 2 releases that you guys can 100% use in a lot of situations. That shock release for any situation, and that dive release when you have to run an outside breaking route, like an out route at 10 or at 5, a comeback, or maybe even a fade or a corner route, but anything outside breaking. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. Great job hitting that dive release, swatting those hands by, and then being able to break this thing off with plenty of separation. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions on this at all, or this kind of topic, anything that could help your game improve, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback, and it's always great to hear from you guys per usual. And again, fellas, if you'd like an 8-week daily wide receiver complete off-season guide with all the gym workouts and field workouts for route running, all the things that help your receiver game improve, check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.